Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with another video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be the May wrap up and June TBR. Plus, I thought it was fun to do a little journal with me. I haven't done a sit down video in a long time. I love filming vlogs. It's like one of my most things to do because I love talking about books. So yeah, but I haven't done a sit down video in a long time. I haven't done a wrap up in a long time, so I thought I'd do it today. And I also wanted to share just my reading journal and what I'm doing with that, because I really love doing my reading journal every month. It's amazing. I've also really recently started a photo journal as well, which I've really been loving. But yeah, I can't wait. Let's get into the video. So the first things first, I'm gonna do my wrap up for May. In May, I actually didn't read many physical books. The books I read in May, the first book I read in May was The Fury by Alex Michelelli or whatever. He is the author of The Silent Patient, not The Secret Patient. I rated that 5 stars, and this was going around. Everybody was talking about it. Now most of the reviews said that they were a little bit disappointed by this book and how it wasn't as good as The Silent Patient. So I went into it actually a bit more excited than I thought it was, but I feel like I agree. I rated this book a 4 stars. I liked it, but I felt like the middle part of the book was just very boring. I didn't care as much about the characters or the narrator as much as I cared about the characters in The Silent Patient. We are again following an unreliable narrator in this book, which I love those type of books. I've only read it twice, but I love following the unreliable narrators. I will say though, the reason why I rated this a 4 star and not lower is because the plot twist absolutely took me by storm. Loved it. The plot twist of this book is absolutely amazing. It's on par with The Silent Patient, but it's just the middle part that I just didn't. It was boring because we do have some flashbacks and flash forwards. I felt the flashbacks were the part that was just not it for me. So yeah, that's why I rated it a 4 star. But basically, this book is about, I honestly forgot the main character's name. That's how much this book, apart from the plot twist, this book is very forgetful. But we've got our main character, and he is friends with this super famous Hollywood superstar. And basically him and the superstar, which again I forgot her name, I think it's Lana or something. Lana, I don't know. But they go to this island with the rest of the friends that she owns, and a murder happens at that island. And basically the book is just trying to figure out who the murderer is, and that's basically the book. It's like a murder mystery, but you also get flashbacks into our main character's past, and you find out how him and Lana became friends, because they're very different people, and she's like a movie star, so you find out how they became friends, and basically you find out more about his past, and then the end of the book is just, I love it so much. And it's written in a diary entry, as in it's written differently from The Silent Patient, because The Silent Patient was just them the story is being written out, whereas the book starts with our main character telling the story. So it's he's writing this down, he's sort of talking first person. The first sentence is him going, I'm writing this book down for you. It's he's talking to us, the audience. So it took a little while to get used to that, because I've never really read a book that does that, and I don't know, it just felt weird the way he was writing it, as if he was talking to me, and as if he wrote this book and he was reading it, and it was just really weird. But yeah, it was basically written in journal entries, but as if he was writing something for you, because he would talk to you specifically. But I don't know, 4 stars. I liked it, just wasn't that, it wasn't what I anticipated it. I wanted a bit more from it, but I will be reading more of this author's books if he comes out with more books, because I really do like Silent Patient. Love that book. The next book that I read is Powerful by Lauren Roberts, which is the novella for Powerless. And I absolutely loved it. I don't usually rate novellas more than like 3 stars because, well, then novellas. There's not much time to like get deep into the story. But I love this. I rated this a 4 stars. I really liked it, and to be honest, I read Powerless a very, very, very long while ago. So I remember the plot of Powerless, but the ending, you know what happens to the main character Adina in this book. What happens to her? I completely forgot about it until we got to the end of this book. So it was basically the ending of this book was like I was rereading it for the first time because I completely forgot that it happened in Powerless. I don't know how I could forget something like that, but I did. I guess in Powerless, I didn't really like Adina. To me, in Powerless wasn't really that special. If you've read Powerless, this follows the main character's best friend, and she wasn't in the book a lot. She was in the book for like the first half of the book, and then she came back. But even then, when she came back into the book, we only got like tiny scenes of her here and there, so I didn't feel like I really got to know her as a character. So I wasn't planning on reading the novella. Like, I didn't really care about reading the novella, whether I read it or not. I wasn't like obsessed with it because I wasn't obsessed with her character in Palace. Obviously, what happens in the end is like upsetting and stuff, but I completely forgot about that. I think for that reason, I just wasn't obsessed with her character. But then I was reading this book and I completely forgot about that. So it was just a whirlwind. I loved the romance. I did forget the main male character's name, but I really liked him. Obviously, there wasn't much they could do because it's a novella. It's supposed to be like short, so there wasn't many scenes. There was like some times where I found myself getting a bit bored, which is why I rated it at 4 stars. But overall, I really, really liked it. I loved the relationship. The ending absolutely broke my heart, and I feel like this novella is what I wanted to get from Powerless. But I get that Powerless wasn't really about Adina and everything. So I feel like that's maybe the reason why we got this little novella, because we didn't get much of Adina in the first book, and this novella is exactly what I needed to like care about Adina, because like it's what I needed to make me care. Because by the end of the book, I was literally, when the ending happened, by the end of the book, I was like nearly crying because I was like, oh my god, this did not just happen. But not only for that, for the main male character as well, because of what happened with his cousin, everything that happened with his cousin, and then now everything that happened with Adina. Ugh, it was just so sad. But yeah, I really liked it. I read this on my Kindle, and I read The Fury on audiobook actually. I read The Fury quite fast, but yeah, it was really good. The only other novella that I think I've rated 4 stars is A Court of Frost and Starlight, and even then I don't think I rated that 4 stars. I think I rated that at 3.75. So, and the next book I read, I actually did read it physically, and this is actually my book club book. In May, me and my friend decided to start a book club, and this is going to be the first book in that book club. I annotated it a bit, but as you can see, I kind of gave up on annotating, and that's how I generally feel about this book. I feel like the start, I was really liking it, I was annotating it, loving all the quotes, and then towards the end, I sort of just gave up. Now, let me explain my relationship with Emily Henry, because it's difficult. I will be doing, if you didn't know, I did start a podcast where it's called the Book Talk Podcast. It will be linked in the description, where I basically talk about my book club books of the month and my favourite book of the month, and I do reviews for that. I don't do reviews for every book that I've read yet because I've got this, and I also post on my Instagram, and I'm a uni student and work part-time, so that's a little bit much, but it's like a monthly podcast where every month you'll get 1 or 2 episodes of me talking about my book club books or my book of the month books, like favourite book of the months. Not the subscription box book of the month, my favourite book of the month, personally. Because I have a thing for that in my journal. Anyway, let me explain my relationship with Emily Henry. I read The Happy Place by Emily Henry because it was going everywhere. Now, I went into it very with a grain of salt, because from the description everybody was describing the books, and I know you shouldn't judge a book by the covers, but like from what everybody was like saying the book was about, like Emily Henry books in general, like Beetroot and everything, it seemed like it wasn't really my style. I like romance books, but I don't necessarily like contemporary romance books. The only contemporary romance book that I liked and actually rated 5 stars was Icebreaker. Not to say that I don't like them, it's just that I don't usually rate contemporary romance books more than a 3 stars, except for Icebreaker. And the reason for that is because I feel like most of the contemporary romance books out there is all about the romance, and there's no individualism within the characters. That's why I like Romantasy, because a series like the City of Burns series, right there, you get individualism. You get to know who Clary, and you get to know who Jace is. You get to know the main characters, the love interests. You get to know them before they get together, and then you get to know them as a couple. So I feel like I know them already, and I like their characters. But with Emily Henry books, it seems like I don't have much time to get to know the characters before she's jumping in to a relationship. I'm like, I kind of just like get to know the characters a little bit before the relationship. I like slow burns, basically, is what I'm saying. And Emily Henry books don't tend to be slow burns. That's the thing. Like, contemporary romances I like, but I don't know. I don't feel like I get to know the characters as much as I do in a romantasy or in a slow burn contemporary romance. Because in a slow burn, the couple aren't together and you're just getting to know the characters, and you have the tension of will they get together and everything like that. And that's my problem with Emily Henry books. It's just sometimes I'm like a bit bored. It's a bit cheesy, but even then, it's not like that. I hate cheesiness, but I don't know. I just want a bit more depth. People have said the opposite though. People love Emily Henry books and say that they think that the characters have loads of depth. I don't know if if I'm the crazy one, but personally, I don't like it. I just don't feel connected to the characters, and that's exactly what happened with this book. Now, at the start, I thought that this book was actually going to be really good, and I was going to rate it at least a 4 stars. I rated it like a 3.5, by the way. So I did not rate it a 4 stars. I rated it a 3.5. It was good. Wait, no. So yeah, I rated it a 3.5. It was good. I rated Funny Story a 3 stars, I think. So it was better than Funny Story at least. The reason was because the start of the book was really, really good. As you can see, I tabbed it. There was like some quotes in here and some like romance moments that I really, really loved. Some of these quotes are so amazing. But towards the rest of the book, I just felt it was dragging. I felt like I thought we'd get a bit more of a storyline. The whole book was basically them just going around town, him showing her pieces of the town, and that's it. This has the trope of fake dating, and because they fake date to their ex's wedding. If you don't know what this book is about, our main character Daphne and Miles, I think it's Miles, yes. Our main character Daphne and Miles both get broken up with, and basically their exes, the people that they broke up with, end up getting together. So this book, basically Miles and Daphne get broken up, and their exes end up getting together. And basically, as sort of a payback, they end up moving in together because Daphne's got nowhere to live, and they end up fake dating for their exes. But there wasn't much fake dating in this. It was literally just them living together, and there's a bit of tension, but like the tension wasn't anything serious. It was like a bit of tension here and there, and he shows her the town because there's also the trope of she's leaving in a couple days, so she's not staying. So he's trying to show her the town to convince her to stay because saying that she shouldn't be run out of town because just they broke up, whatever. And they're fake dating because they're going to their ex's wedding because they're now getting married. And the wedding didn't even it wasn't even fake dating. They fake dated in front of their exes, and they only saw their exes like 2 times. Like they saw their exes 2 times, which means they fake dated 2 times, but the rest was just them in their apartment that they shared together with with like tension, and then going on like little dates but not dates around town so he can prove to her that she says she should stay. And it just felt very boring. I didn't learn anything much about the characters. Daphne has a complicated relationship with her dad, and Miles, he's got a complicated relationship with his parents. His parents like suck, and he's got these like issues where he thinks he basically isn't good enough. But that's it. I feel like I know that's depth, but for me, I want my characters with so much more depth than that. I that's just like a one storyline thing. I want my characters to have. I'm not saying they didn't have any depth. They had their own separate storylines, but we didn't see this play out. It was just Miles talking about his past trauma, Daphne talking about her past trauma, and like talking about her dad and dealing with her issues with her dad, which they only talked about for like a percentage of this book, and the whole rest of the book was just romance. They only mentioned it a couple times. Miles mentioned his more, but they only mentioned it a couple times and they just didn't talk about it again. So it just wasn't that interesting to me. If you get what I mean, I didn't really like it. It wasn't that interesting. I will be giving her another try because when I bought Funny Story, I also bought Beach Read because I was in the summer mood then, and Beach Read is actually one that I'm very, very, very excited for. I'm expecting Beach Read to be a 4 stars because everybody talks about Beach Read, and yeah, it's a summer book, so I feel like it'll just be like a nice summer read. So I'm giving her one more chance by reading Beach Read, but if I also don't like that one, if I feel the same, then maybe just Emily Henry books aren't for me. I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't like 5-star worthy. It's a book that like you could read if you want a palate cleanser. Now, this book also kind of put me in a reading slump after I read this. I don't know if I was already in a reading slump when I started reading this, or if I got into a reading slump after reading this book. All I know is that the second half of this book, like around here, maybe like here, was really hard to get through and took very long to get through. The first half I kind of flew by, but the second half I feel like the second half I was already in a book slump and it just didn't help. But yeah, Emily Henry, guys, 3 stars. Next, I'm moving on to my TBR for June, which I'm really excited. As you just saw, I was in a reading slump, but I read some exciting books. I read some exciting books. For example, I just finished Heartless. I finished this on the 1st of June, but I'm actually going to include it on this TBR. I'll include it in the June TBR as well, but I wanted to include it in this TBR because I wanted to mention that this book is the thing that cured my reading slump. I rated this a 4.75. This is almost a 4. This is almost a 5 stars. This is the exact opposite of Funny Story. You know how I said that I like contemporary romances, but I want the characters to have their own individual storylines and then get together. I don't want to just have characters who are made to be together. I want to feel like they have their own separate lives, they have their own separate storylines, and then they just got together. And I like slow burns. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say the type of contemporary romance I like. Willa and Cade, it felt like they had their own storylines. It was amazing. I really loved this book. This is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series, if you didn't already know, but you probably do. I read the first one and I rated it 3 stars, maybe 4 stars. I think I rated it 4 stars. I liked it. I can't remember anything about the first book really. I remember the plot line, I remember the premise, but other than that, I don't remember much. I read it a long time ago though, so maybe that's it. But this one, so far, out of all of them I read, which is only one, this is my favourite. Now, I'm currently reading Powerless as well, but we'll see if this continues to be my favourite, but I think this will be my favourite in the whole series because I love Willa's personality. She's very strong and fierce and like, she won't take anything from anyone. And Cade is this sort of grumpy sunshine, and I just love it. And if you didn't know, this follows Cade, which is the brother of the main male character in Flawless, and Willa, which is the best friend of the main female main character in Flawless. And Cade basically is looking for a babysitter to babysit his son for the summer while he works on his ranch. This is set in like small town farm, and Willa basically is that person. And this is very much Grumpy Sunshine, as in like he doesn't like anyone. He's had some past trauma with women, and because of the past trauma with women, he just like doesn't want to talk to anyone, doesn't want to date anyone, he doesn't even want to look at women, and he just isn't open to anything. But then Villa and comes along, and you know, you can guess from there. I really liked it. The reason why I wasn't 5 stars is just because I felt like it was a bit of a back and forward. I felt like I wish it was more of a slow burn, because they got together, like they first kissed like halfway through the book. Like they kissed first halfway through the book, and then they were like, no, we can't be together because you're leaving after the summer ends, and I don't trust women, blah blah, because of what happened to me. And I was like, oh, seriously. And then they just didn't talk to each other. And then something else happened. And then like, no, we can't. I'm like, okay, guys, please just get together. It added to the slow burn, but I like the type of slow burns where they don't even look, touch, or do anything with each other until like the end of the book. For example, the Dark of Us series, the first book, The Predator, basically like that. They don't even, well, no, not basically like that. Forget that, because I forgot that they do stuff before they get together. But anyway, yeah, I just like really romances like that. Basically, halfway into the book, they already knew that they liked each other. Like Willa knew that she liked him, and Cade knew that he liked her. There was even some point in the book where they were in the jacuzzi, and Willa knew he liked her, but that he just didn't let himself, because she said something like, I know the look in the eyes of a man when he wants me, and Cade wants me. So she already knew that Cade liked her, but she knew that he just didn't want to do anything because of his past trauma. And I'm like, okay, so you already know. So I'm like, I like slow burns where they don't know that they like each other, or they don't get together until the very end. And also, the kid in this book was absolutely so cute. I don't usually read many books with children in it, but most people that do say that usually the children in the books is annoying. And Luke was just so cute. I loved him. He was the cutest thing ever. He was like one of the best parts about this book was honestly Willa and Luke's relationships. That was the cutest part. I found myself giggling and kicking my feet mainly at Willa and Luke's relationship. That's literally the main bit. I found myself kicking my feet mainly at that. So yeah, I finished this June 1st, but since it was so close, I did want to include it in this wrap up. But yeah, I love this book. It cured my reading slump. I know people say that you need to read 3 books to be officially cured of a reading slump, but I'm very excited to read, so I feel like that is a good point. So let's move on to my TBR. The first book that I'm going to be having on my TBR this month is Divine Rivals. This has been on my TBR for the past couple months, and I've just never gotten around to it, but I'm determined to actually read this book this month. I'm pretty sure everybody says about this book. This cover is beautiful, by the way. I just love it. It follows who? It follows Iris and Roman. Wait. Yeah. It follows Iris and Roman. They're like 2 journalists working at this journalist firm, but like this world also has like fantasy things, so I'm very confused about that. But they have this magical typewriter, and she writes on the magical typewriter to who she thinks is her brother, but then it's not her brother. It's actually a secret person that she doesn't know who it is. It ends up actually being Roman, who is her rival at the journalist company. So they're like workplace rivals, but with fantasy, because there's also a war going on between the gods. And I know that the second book is mainly about the war between the gods. This one's mainly about the romance, and the second one's more about the politics and everything. So yeah, most people don't really like the second book, but I personally love fantasy politics, and I'm really excited. Okay guys, I'm back the next day. I have finished the journaling, and my camera battery is finally full, so I'll be showing you what I actually did with it. First I'll like show all the ones I ticked off. So on the 24 books to read in 2024, I actually didn't read any this month. I've actually only read 1 so far, so I need to probably get on that. I've read 18 books so far, so I filled that in right there. I haven't DNF'd anything yet, but I might actually DNF 19 steps because I'm just not feeling it. So 19 steps might be coming over here, but I don't know. I did update the series tracker because I read Heartless from the Chestnut Springs, so I updated that. Then that's basically, I also put my favourite books of the month for April and for May. I obviously updated like the books that I bought and the books that I read this month, which was 3. I updated my library, put more books there, and this is actually something that I do at the end of the year, so I haven't updated that. And then we go on to my June spread, which, by the way, like, this is not good. I had like a vision where I was gonna get a bunch of ice cream sticks and stick them on the page, and then I was going to draw ice cream around it, if you get what I mean. So it's like a 3D moment, but it didn't work as well as I thought it would work, and it just looks bad. But I couldn't bother to redo it, so we're just gonna act like it looks good, okay? So this is my June spread. It looks worse in person. It doesn't look that bad on camera, but it looks okay. Well, it does. As you can see, I tried to draw like an ice cream there. Then I tried to draw them, you know, them square ones that are like the red square ones. And then this, I tried to draw, you know, the popsicles. And then I had no space to draw more ice creams on top here, so I just left those. And at that point, I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered to finish it at that point because it was already a mess. And if I continued on, I was like, I don't want to make it more of a mess, so I'm just gonna leave it. And then for the TBR, I couldn't be bothered to do much for this page because I was already so annoyed how it didn't turn out how I wanted it to turn out, and I was already so annoyed. So I didn't do much for this page. I just put TBR and then put all the books that I'm reading. I did change it up because usually my TBR, I just put all the books that I'm reading on a page like this. But this month, what I did is I put the book and then I put like a little box around it. And I put my expected star rating, which is 5 stars for Magnolia Park, for example. And then I put here saying ACT, which is for actual star rating. And then I'll put it here once I decide. And then if I end up reading the book, I'll put a green tick in the box. And if I end up not reading the book that month, I'll put a red X in the box, like. And then if I end up DNFing the book, which I probably will end up DNFing, 19 steps, I'll just write DNF right under there. But that's all it is. It's just a star rating. I think it's gonna be what it actually was. I accidentally put Heartless already here. I've already read it, so I put the star rating, which are 4 stars, and then the actual star rating, which is 4.7 and 5. But yeah, and I haven't ticked the box yet because I just forgot to do that. But yeah, that's literally it. I haven't done much else. I really love doing the book journal every month and like just being creative and writing my reviews. Oh yes, I also wrote my reviews. I can't believe I forgot about that. But I wrote my reviews for The Fury. It wasn't much because I didn't have much to say about the book. Powerless and Funny Story, which is the books that I read this month. And I really love being creative. I love writing my reviews. I love drawing in it. It's just something so fun to do. Literally, sometimes I look forward to the end of the month just so I can start and just so I can do this book journal. So like sometimes I'm literally here looking forward to like doing this because I'm like, oh my god, I wanna be creative and I wanna do my book journal and update everything I've done. So yeah. That's the end of this week's video. There'll be many more reading vlogs coming, hopefully, and I hope that, yeah, you guys are ready for that. I'm really excited to get back into the reading spirit after my reading slump. This month is going to be a good month. I can feel it. I can envision it. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to try to do more wrap-ups and do more sit-down videos like this. But yeah, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye!